We're having this one Shabbos, the speaker.
Oh, I saw, yeah. Excellent.
It's a doctor.
He's David's here in the first minute.
Oh, really?
It's not a doctor. He's a rabbi that's from the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
Very, very miraculous story with his son.
Okay.
Ready? 46?
Ready?
Yeah.
46b.
Amar Rab Shimon ben Lakish, Pedachas B'teres B'chol Makom Chutz Min HaNachla. Rab Shimon, it's going to be a machlokes. Rab Lakish, his opinion is that if the forehead is born, the forehead comes out, that's considered a birth. For all things that a birth is relevant for, Chutz Min HaNachla, except for inheritance, which means that if the forehead comes out and it goes back in, then this following son, the one that comes out, actually could be the firstborn for inheritance.
So that's what Yitz sent to you about parrots.
Oh, yeah, but the hand didn't do it.
Why didn't the hand do it for first?
For the inheritance, it wouldn't be a firstborn, because you would need a real birth.
You need a head.
A head or something.
So he went back.
And he went
and
back.
then parrots came in.
Yeah. So, no, because I think they were telling me that they were saying that Peretz was the firstborn. I'm like, the Peretz was the one that jumped out after. Okay.
But he was the firstborn, right?
Yeah, the firstborn. The halachic firstborn. My timer, what's the reason for this? That the forehead is not counted as the birth regarding inheritance. It's only the birth for everything else. It says Yakir Amar Rachmana. Now in those verses where it says if a man has takes a second wife, and if he hates his first wife, he has a second wife. It says he cannot ignore the son of his hated wife and to give the inheritance to the son of the wife that he loves. Rather, he has to be yakir, he has to acknowledge the son of the wife that he hates. Yakir means recognize. He has to recognize him to give him the inheritance. But together with that, it also means that who gets the inheritance? The son that you're yakir, that you recognize. Now, if the head is born, you can't recognize the features yet, if it's only the forehead. When do you recognize the features? Only when the face is born. So Yakir tells me that inheritance means that the birth needs to be something recognizable. That means with the features. Rabbi Yochanan says, no, afilu l'nachala. It's a full birth, even for inheritance, the forehead. Okay. So it's machlekes Reb Shimon ben Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan regarding inheritance if the forehead is a birth. Now the Gemara asks, B'chol makom lasuyi mai. When we said that it's, Reish Lakish says that it's Peiteres b'chol makom, it's considered a firstborn for all things. What do you mean for all things? What are you coming to include when you say all things? It sounds like you have a lot of things. What is included in that? It says, Lasuyi hadatan rabban. It's coming to include the following case. The rabbi taught in the Brisa, if there's a woman that's converting, Shiyatza pedachas vlada, that the forehead of her child came out, while she's not Jewish. This is clearly a water birth in the mikveh.
You mentioned it.
Yeah. And va'achakach neskaira. Doesn't have to be. Could be it was a day later. Some sort of long labor that the forehead came out, and then she pledges, I'm going to keep all the mitzvahs I'm telling you. That's one of them during a long labor. And so they brought it to the mikveh. So the forehead came out, and then she went to the mikveh, and then the baby was born. It's considered that the child was born already from the time the forehead came out. She doesn't have all the laws of impurity. She doesn't have all the laws of giving birth, because she was born when she wasn't Jewish. Even though the actual birth was after she converted, but the forehead was considered the full birth. So that's what Rish Lakish means, that for all things it's considered a birth. Even birth for these laws of impurity and a korban that a woman that gives birth brings. Meisvei, the Gemara has a question. Yakir zu akaras panim. It says that he has to recognize. What does it mean to recognize? That's recognizing the face. Veizu akaras panim, parts of panim and machaitim. That means together with the nose. That means it's not the forehead. It's a kasha on Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said that the forehead is enough. We have a brisa that says that the forehead is not enough. It needs to be the forehead with the nose. The Gemara answers tini ad achaitim. It means until the nose. Okay. Im ad, with or until. That's always a question. They probably put it with a hyphen. It's until hyphen means including with, right?
Like and or kind of.
Right. Okay, Tashima, ein meidim ela al parts of panim imachaitim. This is talking about if a woman wants to get remarried and they assume that her husband died somewhere and they found someone that looks like her husband. So what part do they need to look at to see if it's the husband? It says it needs to be parts of panim and machaitim, the features of the face together with the nose. So we see that for recognition, it means together with the nose. Gemara says no, tini ad achaitim. It means only until the nose. All right, that's another doichek. You adjust it and then it fits. Tashma padachas b'lei parts of panim b'lei padachas ein me'idin ad shiyu shnei memachaitim. Here it's much clearer. It says the forehead without the features of the face, or the face without the forehead. That's not good unless you have both of them with the nose. You need the full face. V'amar Abaya. Abaya says v'temer Rav Kana, and Rav Kana says Mikra. Where do we know this from? That you need to see the full face to testify that the husband died. In battle, you'd find bodies, on the battleground. You have to be able to recognize, to go back to tell the wife that yes, he's dead. And the pasuk says Hakaras Pneim Ansabam, that the recognition of the face testified for them. Now, the pasuk is referring to, Rashi says that when a person has an adulterous relationship, so the child is born looking like the biological father, and that testifies on that the child is really a mamzer. So that's what Rashi says, that the recognition of the face testifies for them.
And if it's just a normal relationship, it doesn't look like the father?
Well, here, the husband is not the father. So it's saying the recognition of the face, you look at the face and you see this is someone else's child. So, but when you read the verses without this Rashi, you would understand that God is reading the faces and seeing sins. That's that God can see the sin on the face. That's what it. Okay, whatever the case is, we see hakaras pneim. You need to have the recognition of the face, and that means together with the nose. The Gemara answers shani edus isha dachmir berabana. No, when you're trying to get a woman to get remarried, to allow her to get remarried, then you have to find out that the husband is really dead. So we're going to be very strict. We have to make sure that we recognize that it's really the husband. When it comes to a birth, we're going to say no, just the forehead is enough. That's how we'll answer Rabbi Yochanan. That the birth of the forehead is enough. When it comes to a woman getting remarried, we need more. The Gemara asks, miru, are we more strict with a woman getting remarried? It's the opposite. It was taught in a Mishnah, we'll even rely on second-hand testimony, that this guy didn't even see the dead person, the husband. He heard it from someone else that saw it. And mipi isha, will even rely on a woman, who's usually not qualified to testify. The Eved will rely on a slave, mipi shifcha, and a maidservant. So we see we're much more lenient when it comes to allowing a woman to get remarried. Gemara answers, yes, we'll rely on a second-hand testimony, but it needs to be that we know the person that we're talking about. To verify that it's the right guy that's dead, that we're going to be very strict. But then how the testimony reaches us will be lenient. But we have to have the right person. So that's why over there we're going to be more strict about hakaras pneim, about the recognizing the face. But we're more lenient about how the testimony reaches us. Yibayisema, another pshat. Yakel lechud v'hakaras panim lechud. Two separate things. By the birth, what's considered recognizing is different than what's considered recognizing by a woman that wants to get remarried, and we have to ascertain that her husband passed away. One is hakaras panim, recognizing the face, and one is yaker. Yaker means could even be the forehead, according to Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, now we have a new Gemara. Itmar. Hayulay banim b'yosef kechavim. Let's say a non-Jew has children, and b'niskaya, he converts. Rabbi Yochanan Omer ein le b'chol lenachla. But after he converts, he gets remarried. He has another child. So Rabbi Yochanan says he cannot have a firstborn that's going to get a double portion for inheritance. His non-Jewish children are considered his children. And the new children that should get all those laws of inheritance are not the first ones. Shimon ben Lakish says no. Those non-Jewish children are not his children. He has a brand new family. It's a brand new life. This is his first children. This is his. He has the first child that gets the double portion.
What do you mean they're not his children? He has no responsibility towards those children anymore? No.
It's not considered
like what you call it, child support or something.
Yeah, no, not
halachically. He just walks out.
Yeah.
He's not considered related to his previous
He's not considered related.
So he just knocks off somebody, has a bunch of kids, and then walks out and says, "Sorry, I'm religious now."
Jewish now.
Hell of an excuse.
I don't think someone that's so irresponsible, the Bezdin would allow him to convert. But, he has his responsibilities. But halachically, that wouldn't be a factor.
So he just bankrupted his first family. It just sounds weird.
I heard the story with Rabbi Gaffney, Kfar Chabad. He converted, and
this may be too much information. Okay, go on.
And his mother would come and see him and kiss him. So he's like, she's not my family. What am I supposed to do? So he
what do you mean his mother?
His biological mother would come and kiss him. And she's still not Jewish. He was a ger. So he asked the Rebbe, what am I supposed to do? And the Rebbe said something like, what should it matter to you if this non-Jewish woman is kissing you? Like, in other words, just don't pay it any mind. Don't get upset about it.
Okay. Very interesting. I thought it was going to be that he had a wife.
Let's not go there.
Rabbi Yochanan Aimer, ein le b'chol lenachla. Rabbi Yochanan says that he doesn't have a firstborn that's to inherit double. The havule rashis, it's supposed to be the havule rashis ainai, because they are the first of his strength, and they're not going to get the double inheritance. And Reb Shimon ben Lakish, I don't know if they get any inheritance. Reb Shimon ben Lakish Aimer yesh le b'chol lenachla. Shimon ben Lakish says that he does have a firstborn for inheritance. Why? Gershon Eskaya Kekatan Shanayladami. It's like a new child. It's a brand new person. Basdula Tamayu, and they follow their own opinions. The Itmar that was stated somewhere else. Let's say a person has children when he's not Jewish, and then he converts. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Kiyam Peri Berivya. He's fulfilled his obligation of Pruah Revu. And that would mean that he doesn't need to marry a woman that's able to have children. He's already fulfilled his obligation. He can marry a woman that's already past the age of having children.
And she had children
No,
before.
he can marry any woman. That even someone that's not going to have children or never had children. The obligation to procreate is on the man. The woman assists but the obligation is on the man. Now here, this fellow, he had children when he wasn't Jewish. So he has already performed his obligation of procreation. And now he converts.
But the children didn't convert.
That's a good point. That's an excellent point. According to the Rambam, Rabbi Yochanan is only talking about when the children converted. He understands Rabbi Yochanan. Possibly he had a different version, a different text in it. Maybe it could be that the Rambam's version was written in this Gairu, and they converted. I don't know. Now, Reb Shimon ben Lakish Amalekiyam. Reb Shimon ben Lakish says that he didn't fulfill his obligation of Pruah Revu because those children that he had was before his conversion. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Kiyam Rabbi Yochanan says he fulfilled his obligation because the world wasn't created to be desolate, rather to populate the land. So therefore, that applies even to non-Jews. In other words, the non-Jews are also meant to procreate, and so therefore, he fulfilled that obligation when he wasn't Jewish. So that's still counted as having children. However, Reb Shimon ben Lakish Amalekiyam Peri Berivya. Reb Shimon ben Lakish says no, because Gershon is guy Kashan Shneiladam, because he's a new person. Yes, that non-Jew had children, but this is a Jew. This Jew never had children. Tzricha, even though he has the same social security number, but the obligation is a different obligation. So we need both of these cases, because if we would just say the first one, which is the one that we spoke about when it comes to inheritance, Reb Shimon ben Lakish over here, Reb Shimon ben Lakish would say that he doesn't have a child. I'm sorry, that he does have a child that's a firstborn, because the first children are not inheritors. They're not Jewish. So therefore, he doesn't have, so therefore, his new child is the first one that's going to inherit, the Jewish child. And so therefore, that child would get the double portion. But maybe when it comes to Pruah Revu, he would agree to Rabbi Yochanan that the children that he had as a non-Jew are counted. In other words, if I didn't have these two cases, I could have said that you don't need to have consistency here between the two cases are both talking about a non-Jew that converts, that had children before and now has children again, or is he obligated to have children again? A non-Jew that converts that has children before. The first case was that his next children, Rabbi Yochanan holds, are not firstborns, and Rish Lakish says